Can I ask you also just a tangent of a tangent first?
That's my favorite tangent.
Okay. Is it possible for me to have a podcast conversation with somebody who hasn't been caught yet, and because they have the conversation, they still won't be caught? And is that a good idea? Meaning, is there a safe way for a criminal to talk to me on a podcast?
I would think so. I would think that someone could. I mean, someone who has been living a double life for long enough, where you think they're not a criminal.
No. They would have to admit that they would say, "I am AV Unit."
Oh, you would want to have a conversation with AV Unit.
Yes. Is there a way? I'm just speaking from an FBI perspective, technically speaking, because so let me explain my motivation.
Sure.
I think I would like to be able to talk to people from all walks of life, and understanding criminals, understanding their mind, I think is very important. And I think there's fundamentally something different between a criminal who's still active versus one that's been caught. The mind, just from observing it, changes completely once you're caught. You have a big shift in your understanding of the world. I mean, I do have a question about the ethics of having such conversations, but first, technically,
Sure.
Is it possible?
If I was technically advising you, I would say, first off, don't advertise it. The fewer people that you're going to tell that you're having this conversation with, the better. And yeah, you could. Are you doing it in person? Or are you doing it
in person? Would be amazing, yeah. But their face would not be shown.
Face would not be shown. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't publish the show for a while. They'd have to put a lot of trust in you that you are not going to. You're going to have to alter those tapes. Mm-hmm. I say tapes because it's old school, but
it's a tape.
Exactly. I'm sure a lot of people just said that. Like, oh shit, this old guy just said tape.
I heard of VHS was in the 1800s, I think.
But yeah, you could do it. They'd have to have complete faith and trust in you that you destroy the originals after you've altered it.
What about if they don't have faith? Is there a way for them to attain security? Like for me to go through some kind of process where I meet them somewhere where...
I mean, you're not going to do it without a bag over your head. I don't know if that's the life you want to live.
I'm fine with a bag over my head. That's going to get taken out of context. But I think it's a worthy effort. It's worthy to go through the hardship of that to understand the mind of somebody. I think fundamentally conversations are a different thing than the operation of law enforcement. Understanding the mind of a criminal, I think, is really important.
I don't know if you're going to have the honest conversation that you're looking for. I mean, it may sound honest, but it may not be the truth. I found most times when I'm talking to criminals, it's lies mixed with half truths. And you kind of, if they're good, they can keep that story going for long enough. If they're not, you kind of see the relief in them when you finally break that wall down.
That's the job of an interviewer. If the interviewer is good, then perhaps not directly, but through the gaps seeps out the truth of the human being. So not necessarily the details of how they do the operations and so on, but just who they are as a human being, what their motivations are, what their ethics are, how they see the world, what is good, what is evil. Do they see themselves as good? What do they see their motivation as? Do they have resentment? What do they think about love for the people within their small community? Do they have resentment for the government or for other nations or for other people? Do they have childhood issues that led to a different view of the world than others perhaps have? Do they have certain fetishes, like sexual and otherwise, that led to the construction of the world? They might be able to reveal some deep flaws to the cybersecurity infrastructure of our world, not in detail, but like philosophically speaking. They might have, I know you might say it's just a narrative, but they might have a kind of ethical concern for the well-being of the world, that they're essentially attacking the weakness of the cybersecurity infrastructure because they believe ultimately that would lead to a safer world. So the attacks will reveal the weaknesses. And if they're stealing a bunch of money, that's okay, because that's going to enforce you to invest a lot more money in defending things that actually matter. nuclear warheads and all those kinds of things. I mean, I could see it, it's fascinating to explore the mind of a human being like that, because I think it will help people understand. Now, of course, it's still a person that's creating a lot of suffering in the world, which is a problem. So do you think ethically it's a good thing to do?
I don't. I mean, I feel like I have a fairly high ethical bar that I have to put myself on, and I don't think I have a problem with it. I would love to listen to it.